Hello, my friends. Instead of the series going out in a blaze of glory, it suffered a most painful death. This is my review of Saw 3D, the final chapter. Before we get into the reviews, I just want to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. Thank you. After Hoffman escapes Jill's trap and is discovered to be the new Jigsaw, Jill goes into protective custody while Hoffman tries to find and kill her. While that is going on, a man who lied about being in a Jigsaw game is actually put into one where he must escape to save the people he knows, including his actually innocent wife. Pretty much the same things as the previous few. My complaints are basically the same as the last few movies. Here, it's worse. Now we have more branching stories that make no sense. It's like, if you weren't paying attention to the last few movies, this doesn't help, as it doesn't really make sense unless you know the lore. The main setup is also the same as the last few movies. Basically, it's another, like Saw 3, Saw 4, or Saw 6. Instead of the guy being in the trap, he's going through each trap and coming in contact with people who are connected to him. And it's like, why are we doing this again? We've seen this 3 times already. It just seems like they have run out of ideas at this point. It also has that element of where you have to really suspend your disbelief, and in this case, it's much worse. First off, the first trap you see in this movie is a really stupid trap where, I don't even know, it's probably easier if you just look it up on YouTube. If you look up like Saw 7, I'm not sure what you put, Saw 7 Triangle Trap or Love Triangle Trap or whatever, go watch that. It's like, it's really stupid. It's definitely the worst trap in the series, not because it's set up poorly, because I guess it's average, but where it takes place and how much disbelief you have to suspend for it to make sense is mind-boggling. It's like, so he did all this without anyone noticing. It's really stupid. And then towards the end, Hoffman turns into the Terminator, and it becomes beyond ridiculous. He's killing people left and right as if he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like the writers have run out of ideas, and as I'll explain later, there's a reason for that. it feels like the writers have completely run out of ideas. They've kind of given up and left it for dead. And that's unfortunate because I honestly think that the story behind the main story of the trap, you know, how the characters interconnect and why they're there, for the most part, is decent. Alright, now I bought this brush yesterday, um, so it's not broken in yet. So please tell me in the comments if this sounds okay. I On my preliminary test, I think it was a little scratchy, but let's find out. Now, not everything in this movie's bad. The Traps with Chester Bennington, Lincoln Park, R.I.P, was actually really good and actually one of the best in the series. Basically, first off, I would legitimately recommend you look up this trap on YouTube individually, as it's probably the actual top, the only point where I actually enjoyed the movie. Basically, he plays this, I guess, neo-Nazi who he and his racist friends are in a trap that only he can save them from. And it's actually really gory and decent. He's glued to this car seat, and while shirtless, and to escape, he must pull himself out, ripping his skin off. And it's actually really decent. The payoff is really nice, and I don't know, it just seems out of place because of how good it was. And not to spoil anything, but let's just say that this is the only part of the movie I like, because everything else kind of sucks. interesting. The series as a whole